So before I go anywhere near this video, this concept, it's very important just to get this out into the universe right away. This is very much in the realms of fantasy. This is going off into a far-off world, a harmonious one, where if these two companies actually could see eye to eye for longer than 5 seconds, they would think, maybe if we did these trades, it'd be amicable. It would be, dare I say it, best for business on both accounts. I know you hate me. So from absolute wrecking ball machines to independent darlings who just need a bit of extra TLC, these are a bunch of trades that would no doubt help everybody involved. Number 10, private party to WWE. So despite currently taking up a spot in Matt Hardy's Hardy family office thing that goes down on AEW, Private Party have had a bit of a stop-start running the company, haven't they? Because they kicked things off pretty darn well. They battered the Young Bucks and got that huge upset win in the tournament to crown the first ever AEW Tag Team Champions. But then after this, they kind of lost the momentum a little bit, started slipping down the card, losing loads of title matches, and then eventually it got to the point where people were like, oh, we're gonna have to do something with these boys to keep them still relevant. Aye, Matt Hardy, let's throw them there. But despite not exactly excelling in the rankings and all the rest of it, they've still shown a ton of charisma. Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, they got the good stuff in abundance. And time again, they've shown that they can hold their own when it comes to actually wrestling inside of the squared circle as well. So if you put them on, I don't know, a landscape like NXT 2.0, you can literally see them coming down the stage, coming down the ramp right now with their shots, taking loads of shots, doing all the partying, and then that experience that they've accumulated, like wrestling with the likes of the Young Bucks, FTR, all these incredible teams, they can pass that on to this next upcoming generation. They themselves aren't that old anyway, so it's just a good deal all around. Number 9, Shayna Baszler to AEW. Okay, so it's fair to say there are an awful lot of talented women on WWE's current roster that are not exactly being utilized very well, are they? But right at the tippy top of that list of people who are just not used in the way they should be on WWE programming has to be the Queen of Spades herself, Shayna Baszler. Because look, she hasn't felt at home on WWE programming since she left NXT, or maybe just after that when she had that great little start on the main roster. Then she stupidly lost to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 36, and it's all pretty much hit the fan ever since then. But the brilliant thing about Baszler is whenever she's given a little bit of something to do on the main roster, she usually crushes it. So imagine giving her just a little bit of time on Rampage to pulverize somebody, she'd straight away feel like a legit monster. We've already seen what AEW are capable of doing when it comes to salvaging people from WWE that have been underutilized. I'm looking at you, Ruby Soho. So just imagine what they could pull off with a former MMA specialist like Baszler in terms of credibility, in terms of just killing people. I want to see Shayna Baszler kick people in the face. I'm looking at you, Britt Baker, because she will break your nose again. Number 8, the Gunn Club to WWE. Seeing as though he's currently taking the place up in the WWE Hall of Fame as part of D-Generation X, it never really feels like Billy Gunn's that far away from returning to the land of the giants, does it? And that's not to say that his run within All Elite Wrestling's been bad by any means, because I think he's done whatever he could do with what's been given to him. Austin and Colton, what he's done with those two, his lads, he's made this Gunn Club feel at least a tiny little bit special on occasion. Like they just had that great match against Sting and Darby Allin, the Battle of the Undefeated People, which they ultimately lost, which pretty much tells you about where they sit in this whole rankings right now. But it does get to a point where when it comes to your development, there's only so much you're going to get from performing on YouTube every other week on Dark and Elevation. So could you really imagine these lads turning down the chance to at least pop up every single week on Tuesday night on NXT 2.0 to whoop some ass with their asses on show? You bet your Mr. Candy Ass they would not. Oh yeah, and if Vince McMahon ever does see the physique that Billy Gunn's showing off at this moment in time, you can bet your silly bottom dollar he's going to pull him back straight away, providing he doesn't fail another wellness policy test. Number 7, Ricochet to AEW. So being one of the only stars on this list that just so happens to pop up on the previous year's edition of this list tells you all you need to know about the last 12 months for Ricochet. Again, it's not through want of trying, because Ricochet, every time he's given anything to do on WWE programming, he just flips out of the park and looks like a freak of nature for doing it, because surprise, surprise, he is. But you do feel like if he finally did pop up in AEW, he'd be treated like this world-class performer, this once-in-a-generation superstar that can do literally anything. I've seen this man do 2 backflips in a row off a cage. And in all honesty, it just looks like Ricochet'd have more fun in AEW. All the dream matches that pop to mind make me salivate, make me go crazy. I want to see Kenny Omega fight Ricochet. Give me now. Number 6, Brian Cage to WWE. Big beefy men doing big beefy goofy things, what more can I say? If WWE ever had a type, it'd pretty much come looking like Brian Cage in a nice little package with a ribbon on it and loads of other nice stuff. And the fact that he looked and felt very much like a WWE guy, but he wrestled like anything but one, made you think that he was really going to excel when he popped up in AEW, because nobody was like that at that moment in time. AEW did not have a guy in the same mold as a Brian Cage. But since becoming All Elite, he's not really done much of note. He's joined Team Taz, he was the FTW champion for a bit, had a great match against Hangman Page, another great match against Darby Allin, but not really much else after that since leaving Team Taz. And it's a shame because he screams superstar mega talent that you could do an awful lot with, and you feel like if Vince McMahon got his eyes on him, he'd be like, yep, that guy, push him to the moon. Number 5, Shinsuke Nakamura to AEW. So whether you choose to believe that one of Shinsuke Nakamura's recent tweets saying, "See you, my friends," was aimed at the fact that he was going to be leaving sometime soon, or not, you have to feel like an exit from WWE is coming later down the line at some point for Shinsuke, because what else is he going to do in this company that doesn't really give a toss about him? And sure, yes, that does sound very strong when I first say it, but seriously, look at this guy's run ever since he won the Royal Rumble back in 2018 and made our hearts soar. He had that potential dream match with AJ Styles, which ended with a massive dick kick, and then we had even more dick kicks for a few more weeks and months after that when he kept battling with AJ, and then ever since then he's not felt like a main event superstar because WWE just don't see him as that. We've had mid-card title runs, we've had stupid losses, we've had factions that made little sense, and then more mid-card title runs, and that pretty much feels like the glass ceiling for Nakamura in WWE at this time. Whereas if you threw him into the land of All Elite Wrestling, you could get a rejuvenation of wrestling brilliance similarly to what we've seen in Bryan Danielson. We could see Nakamura become the true king of strong style once again, and I just want to see him kick Kenny Omega. That's the second time I've mentioned him on this list, but gimme Nak against Cleaner, givey to me now, veins, hook into. Number 4, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky to WWE. Really, when you look at AEW right now, there's very few guys that you think, yeah, they straight away, they seem like the kind of straightforward, run-of-the-mill WWE guy. They can do the typical promos, they've got a very similar in-ring acumen style, whatever you want to call it. But in the case of Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, I'm getting major Miz and Morrison vibes, but this time, exciting and watchable. It's just a combination of the effective throwback promo style of work and not needing to just swear and drop pipe bombs and break back the fourth wall and all that kind of stuff every time they open their mouths. And then the fact that in-ring style, even though some people could say, oh, it's quite safe, it's very typical to WWE's style, where they constantly wrestle about 20 times a week and don't get injured, hopefully. And just in general, it feels like an upgrade on the aforementioned Miz and Morrison, Happy Corbin and weird Madcap Moss vibe thing that they've got going on right now, and these two can genuinely go and do their own thing as separate stars too. It has got to be said though that the pair of them do seem quite happy in AEW right now. They're working alongside American Top Team, doing loads of crazy fun stuff with them. But if they ever felt like a change of scene and earning some of their nice tap dollar, you know their pot stirring skills are tailor-made for the land of E. Number 3, Kevin Owens to AEW. Alright, full disclosure, I wrote this list before a certain contract thing came to light, so bear with me. But as we are in fantasy land, let's just say that this contract, which is pretty much a contract which runs day to day and then has like a 90-day expiration date if you really look into it, if that contract was to suddenly end, why wouldn't Kevin Owens move to AEW? All of his mates are there, it give him the creative freedom to finally tap back into his Kevin Steen greatness of old. And you do feel like he'd finally be given a bit more respect in terms of who the hell this guy actually is. Because let's face it, he's a former world champion, he's just pretty much held down any position that's ever been given to him, he just runs with the ball every time it's thrown at him, and he's just generally one of the nicest guys in wrestling and deserves the world. I just want Kevin Owens to be happy. But to draw a bit of a line underneath this, he does seem quite happy in WWE right now, and I hope that he does keep earning those mega money, dollars and bucks. But if there ever comes a time where he fancies trading in those bucks for young bucks, please Tony sign that contract. Number 2, Nyla Rose to WWE. Let's face it, if WWE are missing one thing right now in terms of their women's division, just in general, and I know they are missing quite a few things in that, like, I don't know, compelling storylines across the board, it is a bona fide monster heel at the top of the card, because Nia Jax and a whole have now gone running away. But look no further than AEW, who have a resident native beast in their midst, the great Nyla Rose, as perhaps the answer to this big monster question mark. She's a legitimate threat and quite terrifying in all honesty, and then just having Vicky Guerrero in a corner again adds credibility. It's somebody that everyone in the WWE audience knows anyway. The minute she walks down that ramp and says, "Excuse me," and then Nyla Rose pops up, you can feel my heart bursting out of my chest. And you can go down two different ways with this. You can just have a squash half the roster, and looking at you, Liv Morgan, you're probably going to get battered by Nyla Rose. Or you could have her going to war with the other titans at WWE WWE currently have the Rhea Ripleys, Bianca Belair, and Nyla Rose. Give that match to me. I've earned it. We've all earned it. Just gimme. Number 1, Sami Zayn to AEW. So the last few weeks of 2021 have taught us anything about the magnificent Sami Zayn. It's that WWE are never really going to respect him or give him a chance to just break out of this comedic box that he's found himself in because he's just so damn good at it. In fact, he's so good, he's pretty much hammered his own main event nail in the coffin himself. He did that. He's done it to himself, and it's through no fault of his own. Seeing his Universal Championship shot just go up in smoke in the manner that he did, thanks to Brock Lesnar just eating him alive before he fought Roman Reigns, is but the latest reminder that we're not gonna see an underdog from the underground story ever again in WWE. We had our time in NXT. It was glorious. Go back and watch it on the network. Just smile. Remember the times of the past, because they ain't coming back. But much like his pal KO, he went over to the land of All Elite Wrestling. You just feel like he'd get a new lease on life. He'd be treated like this independent legend, which is exactly what he is, and he'd finally get the chance to be more than just a slapstick, albeit brilliant slapstick, idiot. And who knows, you may even see the long-awaited return of a certain Master El Generico, who since retired, I believe, as soon as Sami Zayn joined WWE. Curious. The sad fact of the matter is that WWE are never going to really know what they had with Sami Zayn until he's gone. And by then it'll be too late, and he'll be kicking everyone in the face en route to becoming your new AEW World Champion. It's gonna happen. Watch this video back in 2 years and thank me. So that is our list. Know of any other WWE and AEW trades that need to happen in 2022? Let me know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and go and click on that subscribe button wherever the hell it is. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com, find all the incredible articles there, just like this one that I wrote before the Kevin Owens contract stuff happened, because I'm just a very stupid man. I have been Mini Brock wearing flannel frocks, and you can follow me on Twitter at gmorgan04. You can follow everyone here at WhatCulture at WhatCulture WWE. Thank you very much for clicking on this video today, and I'm sure I'll see your lovely faces very, very soon. Bye bye.